So when it comes to music theory, my knowledge is overall pretty basic, like super bare minimum. Really, I wouldn't be able to have a conversation about it with anybody that knows what they're talking about, let alone someone that doesn't know what they're talking about. I've also never taken piano lessons. I took music class in grade 7 and 8 where I played the trumpet, but really I didn't actually retain any of that, so it's hardly even worth mentioning. Um, but I figured, regardless of my lack of knowledge in that area, I have listened to enough music throughout my life to, at least in my opinion, understand what sounds good and what works together. So I figured I might as well try composing a song on piano myself and see how it goes, and this is how it turned out. Now, when it comes to the piano content, it's not exactly something that I would expect. It's certainly not consistently. When it comes to music creation or music production, I am typically a bass music producer. I mostly make drum and bass music. So it's not really something that I would expect in terms of piano content. Like, I do have another piano composition that I'm working on right now, but it's not something like really again, I don't even actually know what I'm doing. I'm not writing the songs. I say composing specifically because it's something that like I just sort of try some things out and trust my ears, and then I remember that, and like I practice enough that I'm able to play it. Like I don't know how to read sheet music, so with that, like I can't write it either. um I mean, if I were to sit down and look at the corresponding keys and write down the corresponding notes, like it would really, I would accomplish the same thing, and it would just add an extra step and take more time. So there's no point in me even doing that until I become more familiar with actual music theory and reading sheet music, if that's something that I do end up doing. But moral of the story here is that I am primarily a bass music producer, and I typically make drum and bass music. So the piano content is not something that I would suggest expecting, at least not at a consistent basis. But it may be something that pops up here and there. But yeah, nevertheless, I think for somebody who's never taken piano lessons and again knows pretty much nothing about piano theory, this is a pretty neat accomplishment. I am pretty proud of myself for it. I'm not claiming that it's some expert level piano composition, but I think for somebody at my caliber to end up creating something like that, I think it's pretty cool. So I hope anybody who listened to it enjoys it, and I'm excited to put out the next one.